I need to start the recording before we start the game. This time it can be slightly less disastrous. I'm like, I sure hope I have enough space on my drive for recording this. Alright, I put you guys in the corner, didn't I? Ta-da! I was suddenly on the streetcar. My arms were crossed and my legs spread apart as I tried to project a tough guy look, as usual. No, I mean, I was sitting there full of confidence. Hadn't I just been dashing for the rain? I was unusually calm about that. Instead, I was unexpectedly annoyed. I was the only passenger. Or so I thought. But Minakami was beside me.
Minakami?
He'd probably heard me, but like always, he was absorbed in a book. My frustration increased, but I naturally began to fidget. Minakami seemed to be ignoring me for the 100th time.
Oi, Minakami!
どうした?
どうしたもこうしたもない。何を読んでいるのだ?
ドグラマグラだ。夢の旧作の最新刊だよ。
ずいぶんやらしい表紙だな。
至って純粋な怪奇小説だよ。
お前もやっぱりワイダンが好きなのか?
ってだから、これはワイダンじゃない。
そう恥じらうな。お前も男だからな。
まあいっか。
Minakami's read everything. I don't know why we have to worry about it. Oh, it's a dream. But this wasn't just a dream. It was as though someone was turning the pages of my memories of the past and reading them back to me. At the moment, I was pretending to be calm while feeling a little bit jealous of this Kyusakuya mono.
なあ、Minakami。もし私がワイダンを書いたら喜んでくれるか?
え?
近頃卑猥な作品が人気あるという。お前もそうして読んでいるようにな。
He reads everything.
でも、体験もないのに書けるのか?
Minakami, you didn't have to do that to him.
バカにするなよ。
周りに流される必要はないよ。お前は書きたいものを書けばいい。
だが飽きやしないか?お前が
そんなことないよ。俺はずっとお前の一番の読み手でいる。玉森の原稿を読むことが生きがいだからな。そう何度も言ってるだろ。
Liar.
今度地下室の怪人を川瀬に見せるらしいな。あいつもきっと楽しんでくれるよ。ほっと。俺も楽しみにしているからな。あの続き。
The liar.
ああ、雨が止んだ。よかったよかった。俺のてるてる坊主が聞いたかな。
Isn't it raining now? Rain fell in drops from the grey sky. Cold rain fell into my right eye, and the sharp pain jerked me awake. Terrible dream. These feelings, all of them, all of this, everything was his fault. Rain? People. Rail tracks. Morning? One by one I noticed every strange thing I saw. When I glanced around, I saw that people were looking at me with their eyes wide. What's going on? Anyone would have been fine, but the moment I tried to ask, the streetcar was blowing its horn right behind me. I scrambled up and escaped this one problem. I clutched my beating chest. When I turned around, the conductor was glaring at me with a face full of rage. When he saw the children on the side of the street, though, he smiled cheerfully and waved at them. Kids were fascinated by the streetcar, so an exchange like this was like a parade for them. I'd unintentionally ended up catching a glimpse of the conductor's humanity. I fell to the side of the road as as a few cars honked at me. I looked at the dim, rainy sky and the days. What exactly had happened here? I was being chased by that phantom, and my foot had gotten stuck in the mud. I must have passed out until daybreak.
玉森さん、おまわり行きましょうよ。
ああ、そうだ。
Hanazawa had been murdered. His head was cut off in one strike, and he died without any last words. My hands shook, and my entire body tensed.
だから立ってください、玉森さん。
ああ、あ
And that's what I said, but my legs weren't working. I couldn't stand. Just then, with perfect timing, a police officer passed in front of me. He looked down at me as if I were a lowly creature, then cast me from his sights with a scoff. I felt like running away too, but I wrapped my arms around my knees and buried my head between them.
どうして呼び止めなかったんですか。言っちゃいましたよ。
だってあの目。
信じてもらえないと思ったのかね。
Even though the frogman and I were petrified, Haruhiko-san went on in an awfully calm voice.
まずはあそこに戻ってみたらどうだろう。
梅鉢堂にですか。
君自身が確信を持ちなさい。天守の安否も心配ではないね。
天使もそうですね。心配は心配です。
When had dawn come? To find out, I'd probably have to go back there. When I tried to get up, the ground trembled beneath my feet. For a brief moment, a large earthquake shook the town. Signboards shook. People were shaken. Thank goodness I wasn't going crazy. The earthquake seemed to be a disaster everyone could see. On my way back to the shop, I saw a large Caspiwa, by the side of the road.
怪人の顔にパコッとやったやつですよね。
It sure did look like it. The label was tattered, but the sweet smell was definitely Caspi. It saved me last night. I instantly felt familiar in my hands, and my vision sharpened. This was the only weapon I'd had to drive him away. I reached Umibachido, and I timidly opened one of the doors. There didn't seem to be anyone there. I called out to the shopkeeper from the half-open door.
はい。
He responded in his usual way. I hesitated, but the frogman pushed me on the back. I still opened the door. It'd be alright. I had the huge Caspi bottle in my hand. Now my teeth were clenched, and even my steps were full of determination. However, nothing in the shop looked any different from the day before. In fact, the old books that should have been scattered about were back in their places. And most importantly, the door Hanazawa had damaged was back to normal. I'll say it again, it was back to normal.
近づいてみなさい。
そんなことしなくてもわかりますよ。
理解を伴っているようには見えないが。
I acknowledged what was in front of me, but like Haruhiko-san said, I still couldn't understand it. I slowly approached the door. I grabbed the small handle and pulled. But the door didn't budge. I would end up making the handle jiggle.
この扉を直したのは天使ですか？
扉？何のことだい？
I felt like being bitter and telling him that if he had time to fix a door like this, he should at least put a lock on the front door of Umebashido. But the shopkeeper didn't seem to know anything, so I finally stopped pulling at the door. I just quietly brought my hands together in prayer instead. Hanazawa. I say his name in my heart over and over again. After reminiscing for a while, I buried the door under all the books I could, just in case.
玉森さん、やっぱりおまわりさんのところへ行きましょう。
ああ、そうだな。 行かなければ。
I'd go to the police. I'd bring an officer here. I'd confirm him as I was deaf. Kawase would most likely be the one to identify his corpse. He'd blame me to no end. This would probably make him lose it completely. I don't want to see him like that. My eyes were dry. Instead of closing them, I covered them with my hands and slowly sank to the floor.
なんで私ばかりこんな目に。店主、ただいま戻りました。
The voice of a young man suddenly echoed through the shop. Moreover, it was my voice, wasn't it? When I looked through the gaps between the bookshelves, I saw me standing there. He crudely shook the beads of water off of his umbrella and tossed it against the wall.
はい。
Even the shopkeeper responded like he usually did. Then, without noticing me at all, I went up the stairs. No, I shouldn't say I had crouched down, so No, I should say I crouched down so he wouldn't see me, wouldn't notice me.
どうなってるんでしょう。
わからん。
What was that just now? A horse under me with the same face as me. Why argue me? I'm me. I crawled out from the shadow of the bookshelves and stuck my head outside. When I did, water splashed down.
くっそ。
Just where had I seen this scene before. Suddenly, a man stopped in front of me. A red umbrella, sleepy eyes, a heavy-looking cloth bundle in his right hand. He was looking up and didn't seem to notice me down by his feet. I crawled back behind the bookshelves and stared at his face from between the gaps.
みなかみさんですよね。
Yes, it was Minakami. No doubt about it. But how? A small sigh came from his gaping mouth.
相変わらず雑だな。
みなかみ、ちょうどよかったな。私も今帰ったところだ。
Minakami seemed to be having a conversation with the guy on the second floor.
ちょうどよかった。
またお前の言う通り雨が降ったぞ。おかげでほとんど濡れずに済んだ。
そうか。
どうした？なんだか元気がないな。
いや、金魚を素手で掴むなよ。
金魚屋の親父だってそうしてただろ
う。でもかわいそうだ。
なんだ、私に文句があるのか？
文句というか、金魚飼育の助言というか。
金魚屋の親父がこれでいいと言ったからそうしたまでだ。
売り物の金魚もいっぱい死んでただろう。
ああ、なんでだろうな。
どうした？今日はやけに気が立ってるな。まるで川瀬みたいに横暴だ。
Minakami twirls his umbrella. He neatly shook the water droplets off it. I slowly came into the shop. I gasped and turned around. When I turned back, he had already headed further into the shop. He hadn't seemed to notice me.
なんで？どうして？
Before long, the man that looked like me came downstairs. He sat at the counter and lazily rested his chin on his hands. Minakami, in his Minakami way, slid book after book into the bookshelf behind me. Right when I was afraid one of his hands was going to touch me, the other man started to fume lethargically.
適当でいいのだ、みなかみ。ここは目的があってくる場所じゃない。適当に眺め、適当に手に取る。
そういうことだったのか。吉屋の隣に類子が並んでいるのを見てから、この店はおかしいと思っていたが。
Minakami nodded in understanding as he continued to return the books to the shelf. His hands moving as if he were tracing constellations.
だからお前な。
なあ、玉森。今気がついたんだが、いろはにほへと。ほら、例えば類港の80万年後の社会の隣には 吉屋の花物語が並んでる。
それを適当というのだ。
Annoyed, the man stood up. Don't worry, I leave these to you. After flaring up at Munakami for whatever reason, he seemed to be persuaded to take some books. The man came closer. I slowly lay down and covered my mouth so not even my breath could escape. But, well, why did I have to hide? I switched from a strange sense of panic to anger. Whenever I was feeling impulsive and not thinking straight, it was usually an invitation for something not so great to happen. So I trusted my instincts and continued to cover my mouth. Despite that, the frogman between my legs was trying to look past the bookshelf. I'd somehow managed to keep him still.
結局3日間で何冊読んだんだ？
20冊は借りたかな。
20冊って。
I hadn't even read that many books this year.
新作は入れたか？
1ヶ月前から何も変わっていないぞ。
そうか。
残念そうだなって。まさかここにある本全部読破したのか？
おそらく。もうピンとくる題名はないから。
4,000 books. This was a conversation I'd had before. And during that conversation, I should have been standing in the same place as that guy. Jeez, I don't understand any of this.
玉森さん、玉森さん、出て行って怒鳴り散らしてやりましょうよ。
怒鳴り散らして何になる？バレたら殺される。
That's just how it was. Munakami should have been dead. For some reason, there were two of me. These men were definitely somebody's meant to take our places. If they found out I was alive, I would surely be killed.
奥さんから招待券をいただいたんだ。ご婦人方は怪奇映画に興味がないそうだ。
そりゃそうだ。女子供には分からんよ。
けど、お前が忙しいんじゃな。
行かない理由がない。
These guys were following the same lines from 3 days ago. They must have been meticulously observing us so they could replace us. In other words, this man wasn't Munakami.
そんな高等無稽な。
だったらこの事態を何とする？何と受け入れればいい？
The frogman tilted his head as he turned to dust and disappeared. I straightened out my bowed legs and pulled all 4 limbs in toward my chest.
もう行くのか？
デートに古い友人が来ているんだ。これから会いに行ってくる。
Tamori kinda dumb. Tamori kind of a dummy.
私の知り合いか？
ああ、いいや。どうだろう。
どうだろうってお前。
Taking a smile, the man left and we Bushido.
勉強も頑張れよ。田舎に残したばあさんのためにもな。
そう。
That has nothing to do with this. At last I had no choice but to believe this aberrancy. Y'all can correct me.
散歩してくるよ。
ああ、はい。
店番お願いします。
I heard the back door. How does this man manage to get... Meanwhile, Juro, who's the birthday boy of today, can't. But this guy... I heard the back door open. His footsteps and muffled coughs melted into the sound of the rain. I do want to say, people do like pathetic, stupid men. But the issue is that Tabamori doesn't even have those for charm points. The shopkeeper was still a shopkeeper. He didn't seem to find anything wrong or out of the ordinary about me and the other one, me speaking to him. Feeling a little jealous, I lifted myself up. With Munakami gone, I sat there with a tremendously bored look on my face. He suddenly stood, feather duster in hand, and of all things, he began to clean the shop. I was with this guy. Normally I would never clean. Usually I'd say something lazy like, discovering old books gives them value they never had. I frantically turned around and clenched my teeth in annoyance. he suddenly stopped moving right behind me. I instantly glanced to the side. He was leaning against the bookshelf, just like me. Oh, Baki, he is not a himbo. He is not buff enough to be a himbo. Do not give him a charm point he doesn't have. Yeah, same pineapple. Like, you're not even the fuckable kind of pathetic, boy. He slowly sank down to the floor. I can relax, I guess. I thought, but then he noisily stood up and ran the short distance to the register as fast as he could. Ink, a pen, and then brand new manuscript pages. He pulled all of those out of the drawer, then lay on the floor and began to scribble out his writing. I peeked out from the bookshelves and coldly looked down at his eccentric behaviour. Anyway, it looked like this was my chance. Now would be the only time I could get past him. Full of confidence, I ran out from the bookshelves and went out into the world beyond the front door. I was starting to piece things together little by little. Someone seemed to have laid out some grand scheme for me. Even if I asked to fake me, I doubted he would answer. I jumped onto the streetcar that was passing by just then and headed for the usual cafe. The waitress looked surprised.
綺麗好きの帝大生は来ているか？
今さっき帰られました。
If she actually understood who I was talking about, then Callus's germophobia really was that extreme. The waitress looked at me with confusion. For some reason, seeing that baby face of hers suddenly made me hungry. Damn, alright. Maybe my frustration earlier had been because of my stomach. I took a seat without assistance and gave my order to the waitress without looking at the menu.
オムレツライスとカルスキ。
まだ食べられるんですか？
Not still, this was my first meal today. I didn't feel like explaining, so I turned my face away. The waitress shrugged to show how much she didn't care. Teetered. Hey, game, can I read that? Thanks. She teetered away towards the kitchen. I looked out the window blankly and we watched the rainy sky.
玉森君、何を悩んでいるのだ？
Haruhiko-san, the frogman, had appeared at some point and were sitting across from me. And here I was, crazy enough to no longer feel anything about that.
何がどうなっているかわからないんです。どうして私が陥れられているのか。
陥れられる？
春彦さん、私はヒステリーを起こしているんでしょうか。
Don't worry, your women are wondering about your body untethered. I hadn't gotten here just by taking the streetcar and walking. I thought over the situation and again came up with an answer.
芥川龍之介の小説にドッペルゲンゲルについて書かれた話があるんです。二つの手紙という書簡形式のお話です。
知っているよ。ドッペルゲンゲルに悩まされる男の話だ。
それと同じなんですよ。私にそっくりな。
Haruhiko, like, no, it's not, you idiot.
違いないんです。
君なんかになり
Tamamori is wandering with.
わかりません。
そう。君という人間には何の価値もない。
You're right, Haruhiko. Go off, bestie.
水上くんと花沢くんが何者かに狙われるのは無理ないだろう。だが君には何の価値もない。
3度も言う必要ありますか？
だからおかしいと思わんかね、玉森くん。
Haruhiko-san struck the table with a thud. Even the frogman suddenly straightened up and moved as if the motion were directed at him. But the omelette rice that came right at that moment made my eyes sparkle.
本当に食べきれますか？
なんだその口の利き方は。私は分子だぞ。
浪人生も分子のうちに入るんですか？
Girl?
なぜそれを？
分子さんはお腹が空きやすいんですね。
This woman. She was so sassy with me.
玉森くん、見よこの景色。床はまだ濡れている。これは先の地震で川瀬くんがこぼしたコーヒーだ。
The earthquake earlier?
そしてこの女の胸元には茶色く汚れた刺繍のハンカチ。
なんなんですか？
時は流動性だ。なのになぜ3日前と同じ景色に君はいるのか。
When I split my omelet rice in half, it was red inside.
ねえ分子さん、私の提案でお米の代わりにトマトを丸ごと入れてみたんですよ。
Girl, what's wrong
どう
with
で
you?
すか？美味しそうでしょ？
Like, I get it because it's Tamamori, but girl, what's wrong with you?
それはオムレツライスと4番ヘドが出そうだ。
へえ、ひどいです。
I knew it was the same scene from 3 days ago. I knew that. Since the moment I saw Minakami, I realized I was 3 days in the past. I also knew that at that moment, the me in Umibashiro was writing away.
でも信じられるわけないじゃないですか。これは悪い夢だ。
玉森くん、
春彦さんも消えてください。一人で考えたいんです。
いいから懐を探ってみなさい。
I reached into my pocket and pulled out the ordinary silver pocket watch and the goldfish watering can.
金魚長老。いや、金魚長老。
そっちではない。懐中時計を見なさい。
It was a silver pocket watch Hanazawa had given me. Without being told to, I checked it against the cafe's clock. It was off by 2 hours. My watch was ahead.
君は時間を跳躍している。
え？
君は今、3日後の世界から帰ってきたのだ。
バカな。
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Was he saying the me I saw earlier wasn't a doppelganger? Someone wasn't trying to deceive me?
君は3日前に回帰した。
じゃあ、みなかみと花沢は今、
生きている。
さっき出会ったみなかみは、
本物に違いない。
偽物は一体。
どこにもいない。
My suspicions were turning into assumptions. Belief? Then, could I believe it?
あんなに。
So pale, so red, so cold, so warm. My stomach churned when I remembered their dead bodies. Then the food I had just eaten, the omelette rice, forced its way up.
あ、
うえー、本当に吐いた。
失敬。
うわー、
The waitress retreated in disgust. I looked at Haruhiko-sama with tears in my eyes.
ゲロも残さず食べなさい。
What? Haruhiko, what is wrong with you? Haruhiko, I know you're like, hey, Tamori, you're worthless. You suck so bad. I hate you. But you can't tell him to do this. Haruhiko, you can't make him do this.
言われなくても食べます。
What is wrong with you, Tamamori? Tamamori, what is wrong with you? Oh, jeez. I scraped up the vomit with my spoon and washed it down with Calsby. After that, I no longer felt nauseous. I don't know how, boy.
何がきっかけでこうなったかはわかりません。でも、戻ってきた意味はあるような気がします。
ほ
There's something dearly wrong with this man.
そのために、一番最初に会いに行くのは、川瀬でもみなかみでもない。私は、もう一度私のところへ。
I pointed a steely glare at the rainy sky. When I arrived at Umibushido, I was lying flat on the floor, facing a manuscript. My hand didn't rest. The only time I blinked was the moment he turned a page. He corrected his mistake sloppily, layering black ink on with more black ink. What an awful sight.
私はいつもこうなのか。
そのようだね。
The first thing I did before I approached me was close Umibushido's doors. I then stepped on the manuscript, which his face was now even closer to. When I did, I slowly examined myself from head to toe with eyes full of surprise.
なんだ貴様は。
Sure enough, he looked shocked.
よく聞け私よ。明日明後日でお前の大事な友人が死ぬ。なんだと。ってお
The manuscript beneath my foot was wrenched out from under me, making me lose my balance. I fed over my fake glasses as I slowly came closer.
なぜ私と同じ顔をしている。
Why are you me? I'm me!
私は未来から来たお前なのだ。80万年後でも1000年後でもない。たった3日後から来たのだ。ふざけたことを気でも違っているんじゃないか。私が愚かであることは認めよう。口で言っても融通の利かないバカだと分かっている。予言だ。夕方、眼帯の男が来る。そしてそこのドグラマグラを手に取り、金魚上炉をお題の代わりに置いていく。ドグラマグラだとみなかみのやつめ。
Wondering if it was really there, I pulled a Doggermagra from the bookshelf and stuck it in my pocket.
おい、なぜ懐にしまう。こんなもの商品にならん。後で私が別の本屋に売りに行く。それでは未来が変わってしまうだろうが。なんだ貴様、未来から来たくせに矛盾したことを言うのだな。この行動もすべて予想済みではないのか。
I was speechless. Shot full of holes for the bullets of my words. I took a dizzy step back. Haruhiko-san stood between us as if to protect me.
過去の君の方が一枚上手だな。
Hey, past you's a bit smarter than you, aren't you? Of course, Haruhiko-san wouldn't be able to back me up. Noticing my stress, he came moving closer to me.
さあ、次は何の予言だ。私は分子のみ。貴様などに構ってる暇はないのだ。何もしてないその日暮らしのくせに。言いまかされて悪態をつくなど往生際が悪いやつよ。ともかく顔でも洗って出直してこい。私はそんなブサイクではないぞ。
I think you could both do with washing your faces.
貴様。
玉森君、自分と争ってどうする。
ですが、春彦さん、こいつはやっぱり私ではありません。
いいや、間違いなく君だ。このどこから来るともわからぬ自信。
Go for the throat, Haruhiko-san. Go, Haruhiko-san. No matter what I predicted, this guy's ego wouldn't accept any of it. I never have any interest in stories about the future, so saying anything to this guy was pointless.
どうする、玉森君。
And he deserves it.
ならば、貴様の秘密を明かしてやろう。
Oh no.
さすれば私が貴様であり、貴様が私であることを疑うことはなかろう。ふん。お前はつい最近。
Just as expected, I reeled back.
なんだと。何のことだ。何を知っている。
Umbachi's outhouse was behind the shop. You had to leave the shop to get to the outhouse. In short, I hadn't made it in time. I won't go into detail, please
信じ
don't.
てくれたかなあ、この世にたった一人の私じゃないか。信じ合おう。気持ちの悪いことを。いいから黙って現実を受け入れろ。田舎見と花座を助けるためだ。現実を見るのは貴様の方だ。
Absolutely everything is wrong with this man. He raised his fist. If that was my usual punch, I wouldn't take a hit straight to the face. I would take a hit straight to the face. Hey, bye now. I don't know if I want to reward you for that one. That was definitely my own fist. I could see it in slow motion, like watching the distant scenery slowly pass by from a car window. I easily intercepted his hand, but the moment I tried to deflect the ball, the hand I was touching turned a clear blue, and ripples ran through my entire body. Even my last words disappeared with a splash. There was a heap of clothes where I had been. Then they slowly began to soak up the water. I staggered back before I could get into my shoes. It had been in the blink of an eye, an instantaneous occurrence. I had turned into water.
カエル男、匂いを嗅げ。
はい。
The frogman sniffed the water as Haruhiko-san commanded.
水です。これ今日の雨水です。
ますますわけがわからんな。
なんで？
なんでかはオラにもわからん。ともかく玉森くん、そこの服を探ってみなさい。
I rummaged through my clothes as if I were performing an autopsy. I found my glasses, the copy of Dogger Magra from earlier, then a ticket for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I put all three in my home pocket as if to say they were mine. Then I dropped to my knees and fell forward.
君がそれを手に、君は今。
Jesus Christ, come on.
それは。
Doesn't that mean I killed myself?
いや私がドッペルゲンゲルだったなんて。いや。
だが君が過去の自分としてまた同じ道をたどる必要はない。君はこの雨の3日間を
理解が追いつかんな。
不思議なことなどないのだよ、玉森くん。
Yeah, this is normal time, Mori. Haruhiko-san said that as he opened the door and disappeared into the room with the frogman. I picked up my suit clothes and placed them in the corner by the register. My heart was pounding. This wasn't good. There was no way I could calm down. I'd heard that Akutagawa wrote the two letters after having seen his own doppelganger. In other words, the world was full of mysteries.
なあ。
How does it end up like this? How? What? How? Why? I clutched my head as I laid it by the register again. After putting my head down for a while, I heard the sound of the back door opening. It was 4 o'clock. The shopkeeper seemed to be back.
戻りましたよ。
お帰りなさい、店主。
The shopkeeper vaguely responded with a nod as he climbed into his futon. Before he could fall asleep, I made up my mind and cast my hesitation aside.
店主。この店って一体何なんですか？どうもここ、古本屋の作りには。
Shopkeeper route? Shopkeeper route now? Now?
さあ、私も5年前に借り受けたばかりだから、詳しいことは。
それじゃあきっと、地下室のことも知らないですよね。
地下室？
The shopkeeper sounded concerned. I didn't want to think I was crazy. I took the money from my pocket and put it all save for 1 yen into the register.
店主、今までありがとうございました。
どうしたんだい？改まって。
この店を出て行きます。
おや。
ごめんなさい。荷物は明日明後日で少しずつ持ち出します。金魚の餌やりだけはどうかお願いいたします。
君は何か不思議な体験をしたようだね。落ち着きなさい。
落ち着いてます。
Even I thought that anyone responding that quickly probably wasn't calm.
それでも呼吸が整わないのなら、 1から100まで数えてごらんなさい。
1から100って。
Hey, shopkeeper might be able to save the goldfish.
ゆっくりでいいんだ。一体何に怯えているのか。
There was no way he would believe me. That there was a man in the basement. That I'd come from 3 days in the future. That I'd replaced myself. If I told him any of that, he would really think I was crazy.
困ったことがあったらいつでも帰っておいで。
I'd come to depend on countless people throughout my life. But in the end, they were the ones who had pushed me away.
それで何？ついに店主にも店を追い出されたってわけ？
違う。
同じようなもんでしょ。住むとこないんじゃさ。
頼む。今晩だけでいいから。
前に君に部屋を貸した時、大層汚してくれたよな。
今度は綺麗に使う。
新規臭いな。そんなかわいそうな声しても。
Good for you, Kawase. Never feel bad for this man. You don't want to know the things we know about him.
じゃあね、課題が残ってるから忙しいんだ。
What a heartless guy. Maybe I actually had done something to make Kawase hate me, but I hung up. I'd never be able to convey the sense of urgency over the phone. Whoever I talk to next, it would be in person. But I'm going to BRB a quick second. As soon as this line's over.
Hey. I'm right, aren't I? I can tell. Well, guess, really. Hurry up and end our suffering, okay? Step inside and you're home free. Step inside and you're home free.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
What the hell? You gotta be kidding me!
Fucking corpse party! It was fucking corpse party! Motherfucker! I knew better!
The pack bearers of lust have the power of thermokinesis.
I knew it. I
the ability
fucking knew
to
it was corpse
manipulate
party.
temperatures.
Oh, why am I
Leave it to
stupid?
a demon to completely ignore the laws of thermodynamics. That aside,
God. Oh! There we go.
一晩でいいんです。
怪しいよ。
そういえばみなかみは。
あら、皆さんを利用しようなんて。
にゃ。
You got me. That's right. I really am scum. The door slammed shut. Even though this has happened a ton of times already, the impact made me break out in a cold sweat, my back straightened. I guess sucking it up and saying it and then was my best bet, but why wasn't I allowed to rely on my friends? My habits that bad? When we began to slowly walk away, a passerby grabbed my shoulder.
やっぱり玉森か。どうしたんだこんなところで。
Me. This was the second time I had seen him with my own eyes. However, the moment he acknowledged me, the strings that had been holding me up were severed. I fell on the spot. Minakami immediately grabbed me and held me up. He cast his umbrella aside, so we were both getting soaked in the rain.
話せ、大丈夫だ。
いきなり倒れて大丈夫ってことはないだろう。
When he touched my forehead, I felt a jab to my heart. He spoke timidly, as he pat my stinging chest.
熱はないようだな。
Really? I didn't have a fever? Minakami picked up his bag and umbrella, then smiled cheerfully again.
奥さんに頼んで休ませてもらおう。
いい、帰る。
でも 俺に用事があったんだろ、ここに来たってことは。
そうだな。用事といえば一つ忘れてた。地下室の怪人の原稿を返してくれない？
Minakami shook his back.
すまない。まだ読めていないんだ。
だろうな。メイドでゆっくり読みやがれ。
メイドって。あ、ちょっと待って、玉森。
A path was spun around. Whenever I was in a bad mood, Minakami smiled so kindly. I touched my dripping cheeks and pushed them up. When I did, he smiled even wider.
なあ、玉森。この後、時間あるか？神田橋に行きつけのカフェがあるんだろ？俺も連れて行ってくれよ。
今から？
ああ、今から行きたい。
悪いが、私が持っているのは車賃くらいだ。
俺が貸そう。
貴様だって実家から借用しているくせに偉そうに言うな。
この前は喜んでおごられてくれただろ。原稿用紙とか筆とか。
それとこれとは関係ないだろう。
It warmed my heart that Minakami hadn't changed. We rode the streetcar and headed to Kanda Bridge, as Minakami had suggested. No matter how crowded it was, Minakami always had a book in his hand, but today he had both his hands on the leather straps. He gave me a calm smile when our eyes went in the window. Minakami was acting strange, or maybe I was. That was the obvious answer.
にゃにゃ。いや、ちょっと面白いことがあったのだ。お前、ドッペルゲンゲルって知ってるか？
もちろん知ってる。
実は、私も見てしまったのだ。
え？
もう一人の自分を。
それは困ったな。ドッペルゲンゲルを見たら自分の死期が近いということだ。
そういえば、そうとも言うな。
My other self had turned into water and died. Yeah. I guess the thing about being close to death really was true.
信じてくれるか？
ああ、信じるぞ。
じゃあ私が3日後の世界から来たと言っても？
Minakami's eyes opened wide as he looked at me from the side. After thinking for a bit, his mouth hung open as he looked out the window.
そうだな。
なんだその曖昧な言い方は。
証明できるものがあればすぐに信じるよ。
これがその恩師の銀時計だ。花沢の持ち物で3日後の世界でもらった。
花沢なんてまた懐かしい名前を。
ともかくこれで信じてもらえたか？
そうだな。もう一声欲しいな。
もう一声っておい、叩き売りじゃないんだぞ。
Our coffees were quickly brought out. The waitress immediately went back to the kitchen without her usual comments. She was glaring at me, but since she had seen me vomit, I guess that wasn't unreasonable. She also saw you eat that vomit, so I wouldn't speak to you either.
私はこれにたっぷり牛乳を入れる。そしてまたたっぷりと砂糖を入れるのが好きなんだ。
そうか。俺はこのままでも美味しいと思うけど。
That's what Minakami exclaimed.
なんだ情けないな。
お前の唇腫れてるぞ。
これは一種の拒絶反応だ。数分もすれば治る。
We both put our coffees to our mouths again and let out a sigh at the same time.
それで花沢は元気そうだったか？
信じてくれるのか？
信じた方が面白いと思ってな。
I couldn't tell if he was taking me seriously or not.
川瀬のやつ、私たちに内緒で3ヶ月も前から花沢に会っていたらしい。
なんだ、水臭いな。
だろう？あいつ、私たちに邪魔されたくないから黙っていたのだ、きっと。
Kawase had clung to Hanazawa since forever ago. I remembered what I had thought back then, that he liked to use Hanazawa's authority.
3日後の俺はどうしてる？
3日後のお前は、なんだっけかな。忠告だけする。
Minakami fell silent. A question mark was practically hovering over his head. There's no way I could tell him. He'll be killed tomorrow. Minakami would definitely burst out laughing if I told him something like that.
いいか？明日鑑賞する狂える悪魔は昼の部ではない。夜の部だ。
そんなの間違えるわけないと思うけど。
だが貴様は間違えるのだ。いいか？それと水道橋には近づくな。
けど、どうやって東洋キネマに行けばいい？
お茶の水の方から迂回していけばいい。
ずいぶん遠回りな。ともかく、その2つを守ればいいんだな。
そうだ。
わかった。
なあ、本当に私の言うことを信じてくれたか？
もちろん。類行に80万年後の社会って作品があるだろう。あれは博士が工事機に乗って80万2701年の未来にたどり着いてしまう話だ。俺にはその冒険譚がそう遠くない未来のことのような気がするんだ。だから玉森の話を聞いているとワクワクする。
にゃそうだよな。
I laughed, even though it wasn't funny.
で、その2つを守ると俺はどうなるんだ？
さあ、それはお楽しみだ。
Yeah, Obaki, you never know, they might have carried him to Suedo Bridge. We don't know.
そうじらすなよ。
たった明日明後日のことだ。自分の目で確かめろ。
The waitress came then, with a terribly indifferent look on her
あ
face.
と30分で閉店です。
閉店ってまだ6時前じゃないか。
今朝の地震で食器が壊れちゃったから店長が買い出しに行くんです。
When I looked around, I saw the other waitresses were speaking to the remaining guests. It didn't look like it was her just being mean.
それじゃあそろそろ出ようか、玉森。梅鉢堂まで送ろう。
私はもう少しここにいる。おい、ジョケ、ついでにコーヒーおかわり。
はーい。
Yeah, Tamamori, just follow him everywhere. That'll solve the problem. Minakami put his things back down on the seat.
俺も付き合おう。
いいから先に帰れ。閉店間際で一人ジャズを聴く。おつなもんだろ。
また意識の高い趣味を見つけたな。邪魔するつもりはもちろんないよ。
ともかく必ずだぞ。必ず私の言ったことを守ってくれよ。
ああ、よくわからんが楽しみだ。
Minakami put down enough money to even cover my second coffee, then put it on his mantle. Yeah, but I assume no one else will tolerate him. Everyone else is like, please, please, can you do it? We don't want to deal with that guy. Please, please. You're like his friend, so you can deal with him, right? Maybe you'll be able to get information about his friends, right? You'll deal with him, right? He exited the cafe without saying goodbye as usual. I suddenly relaxed and sank into the backrest. I touched between my brows to adjust my glasses, but remembered I wasn't wearing them. With my blurry vision, I saw my hot coffee being brought out. The waitress stood next to me and stared.
ねえ分子さん、30分で飲みきれます？いつもは1時間も冷ましてお飲みになるのに。
よくしゃべる女だな。
女じゃありません。メイコです。明治生まれのメイコ。
Miko. I really couldn't care less. Offended, Miko the waitress puffed out her cheeks then and stalked back to the kitchen. Yeah, Tamler, Tamler, do you wanna just order ice in your coffee or something? I only had 30 minutes left to go at this cafe. According to the ordinary silver watch, 2 hours had already gone by. A watch with the wrong time was the most useless thing in the world. When I went to fix the time, the frogman stopped my hand.
玉森さん、玉森さん、時間はそのままにしておいた方がいいですよ。この時間のズレはあなたが3日後から帰ってきたという唯一の証拠です。あなたがあなたを信じられる唯一の証になると思うんです。
その通り。
Parihiko-san nodded deeply. It did have that significance. This may come in handy later.
私はさっき私を信じられませんでした。
Even when I tried to tell Minakami the truth, I doubted myself.
私は空想小説を書くのが好きです。幻想が好きです。それこそ絵に描いた餅が好きです。でも心のどこかでいつも疑っている。
おお。
アクターガーが書いた2つの手紙だってそうです。妻と親しくする自分のドッペルゲンゲルに嫉妬する主人公の話。でもあれは幻想小説なんかじゃない。自分の目に隠れてマブと仲良くする妻の不貞操を認めたくないただの気狂いな話だ。だから私も自分を疑いました。本当は全部夢なんじゃないかって。
There was no reason for that man who smiled so happily to be killed so brutally. There was no way he could die. There was no way God or Buddha could allow such a thing. That's why all of this was just a bad dream.
でも今この時計を見て現実だと思い出しました。
今から水上くんを追いかけて彼の死を伝えるかい？
いえ、水上は嘘をつくような男じゃありませんから、私の忠告は必ず守ってくれるでしょ
う。ならばこれで水上くんの命は保証されたというわけだ。
おそらく。
あとの問題は玉森さんの寝床ですね。梅鉢堂の万年床、気持ちよかったな。
うん。しかし気持ちいいと言えば、この椅子もなかなかの加減だ。
Parihiko-san said as he and the frogman bounced up and down. Watching them bounce, I suddenly had a brilliant idea.
おい、呼んだ。おい、
メイコです。
メイコ。
だからってそんな呼び方ひどくないですか？
では上級。
The waitress ended up coming over when I called her in the usual fashion.
君、私の友人の帝大生を好いているようだな。図星か。
The waitress looked away and pursed her lips. And then, from those pursed lips, she whistled out an unfamiliar song.
散々私たちの話を盗み聞きしていたお前だ。あいつの名前くらい覚えていいよ。
知りませんよ。
Meiko! Meiko!
そう。だがあいつの本名は川瀬ではない。池田だ。
Formerly Kawase, now Ikeda-kun. I wasn't trying to trick her, it was the undeniable truth.
本郷三丁目に池田邸という家族の家がある。奴は訳あってあそこの養子になったため、本名を池田というのだ。
池田さん。
The waitress looked up at the ceiling as she memorized the name. She definitely wanted to know more about Kawase. What kind of relationship do you and the Teraise-san have? Then you know where he lives? That was her current state of mind.
どうだ？君にとってはかなり嬉しい情報だろう。
The waitress nodded eagerly.
でもどうして？
川瀬。いや、池田君の素性と引き換えに君に頼みがある。
The waitress leaned forward to listen. This was my proposition. I want you to keep it a secret from that mousy chef and let me stay the night in the cafe. I'll hide under the table until the cafe closes, so I want you to cover for me without the chef noticing. Huh? Aren't you just up to no good? Just want a place to sleep. I mean, it's not like I have ulterior motives when I gave you information on my friend either. Huh? You can't trust me? Give you more information about Picarto? Sounds like you're up to no good too. After a friendly chat, the waitress and the chef closed the cafe. I wasn't sure if the waitress always did this, but I heard her always call out good night into the cafe after the lights were turned off. So I'm going to BRB again real quick, and this is just going to be a reminder that this is now the second last day of the Donathon, because we're now having a second final day on Twitch. But here, look at that nice goal there. Okay, thank you. BRB.
Yo,
I
yes.
almost failed it because I was like, oh, there's a female need around.
Poggies.
Okay. Because these are reversed on the screen. Get ready. Right. Over for it. That's only an ice, please. It's an ultra ball, it's like level 4. Well, it's in 2 ultra balls and it's level 4. We got it. Second phase, shiny Nidoran. I got the BB.
Shut up!
Yum.
You know, I could tell you a thing or two about what to do about Kamoshida. You were pretty close just a moment ago.
God, that condescending attitude. This thing's gotta.
You were
Really have to be looking for a cat in a busy time like
Do it,
this?
coward, you won't.
How can a government kill its own citizens that easily?
You'd be surprised. You'd be severely. Woofed. Huh? Help me. Well, sounds like your problem.
無駄だっつうの。ゆうかくん、お姉さんの戦いぶりはどうよ。
大変結構なお手前で。
見つかった。
Well, we know what Brace is going to do next. Weaponize dysphoria. Take it off you. Ting on. It's not quite so I guess played before it's been tutorial deck. Can I see the hat? How do I see the hat? After that, 4 hours went by. I didn't even realise I had slept the entire time. I'd fallen asleep under the table. I slowly crawled out and sat down on a chair with a groan. My joints ached. I guess they would after being crammed in such a tiny space. From my usual seat, I watched the light from the gas lamp outside, which was different from the lighting I was just in here. The cold night rain had lit up and was seeping into the now orange surface of the street. I rubbed my sleepy eyes and I let out another yawn.
コーヒーには覚醒作用があるという。
寝ようと思えば何時間だって眠れます。体が痛んだので起きてみただけですよ。
その性分が君をダメ人間にしているのか、それともダメ人間ゆえの怠惰なのか。
Go, Haruhiko. What a rude hallucination. Haruhiko-san sighed, then I frowned at him and rested my chin on my hand.
それにしても川瀬君に悪いという気持ちはないのかね。
ありません。私を家に泊めてくれなかった川瀬が悪いのだ。
If you're going to curse anyone, Kawase, curse yourself. I wasn't sure how that waitress Miko was going to take advantage of knowing Kawase's address, but there was nothing wrong with letting bad people fight amongst themselves. At first, a woman with a one-sided love would probably just watch him from outside the manor grounds, going through his garbage or steal his mail.
川瀬さんは怖い人です。僕と春彦さんの物語を破りました。
そういえば、そんなひどいこともされたな。
でもこの世界に僕たちの原稿は存在しませんから、もう二度と破られることはありませんね。
そうだな。
けどいつか書いてください。また僕たちのこと形にしてくださいね。
当然だ。
いろんな人に知ってもらえると思うと恥ずかしいけど嬉しいな。
Aww.
お前、結構可愛いこと言うのだな。
It's cause you're curing. When I told him that, the frogman covered his face in embarrassment. I was having an unexpected conversation with my hallucinations again. I must have been insane. I ruffled my hair and laid my cheeks against the table. I looked around the quiet, empty cafe in a daze and spotted the gramophone. The choice of music here seemed to be decided by the waitresses, so I'd always see them changing the records whenever they felt like it. I went behind the counter and found around 50 records piled on the shelf. I randomly pulled one out. I looked at the front and back, but I didn't know what language it was in. I put the record in, still unsure, and a familiar jazz song played.
さっきもかかってましたね。
あの女級が好んでいる曲だ。
題名は
レゲエ、リガルで、
リガルドモア、フランス語だね。
Regarde-moi. Regarde-moi. I'd see.
役は私を見て。
いかにも少女が好みそうな題名ですね。で、だから、なぜあなたがそんなこと。
How could my own hallucination have knowledge that surpassed my own? No, maybe Haruhiko was a personification of the massive amount of knowledge that's slipped out of my mind up until now. As he faced away and appraised a simple platter, his back suddenly looked tremendously bright. As soon as I realised what he might have been, I didn't feel so much resentment towards the lecturing old man.
コーヒー入れてみましょうか、春彦さん。
やめておきなさい。君に美味しいコーヒーが入れられると。
I'd believe that, Haruhiko.
そうですね。それじゃあおとなしくジャズに思いを馳せましょう。
ほろりと従順になったな。
It'd be 11 o'clock soon. That waitress Miko had said the manager was coming at 7 in the morning to open the cafe, so I wouldn't get caught. I'd need to hide under the table closest to the entrance, and then run outside as soon as the manager headed back to the kitchen. It wasn't going to be easy. There was absolutely no way a guest, let alone a stranger, would be allowed to stay the night for free. Anyway, I had to live a lie whenever I went.
けどすっかり目が覚めちゃいましたね。
そうだな。代わりに掃除でもしてみるか。メイクに宿泊料は払ったが、ここの店長には何も払っていないからな。
ご機嫌ですね、玉森さん。
Yeah, who are you? Tamori would never. I grabbed a dishcloth and eagerly returned to the tables. I wiped them from corner to corner the way Miko always did. The jazz washed over my stagnant heart. Regarding what? Why am I regarding what? Look at me, huh? She probably played it while thinking about Kawase. If a guy did something like that, it'd be creepy, but if a woman did it, it was cute. How odd. The frogman jumped down onto the table I had just wiped. The frogman pointed outside. When I looked where he was pointing, something suddenly fell off about the scenery. There was someone standing under the gas lamp. It was a black and slender silhouette. When I strained my eyes, the silhouette began to sway. It was a person. It looked like they didn't know what to do with one of their legs. They were swinging it a little, like a pendulum. The shadow suddenly vanished. And they noticed me. As soon as I had that hunch, there was a knock on the door. On the other side of the stained glass stood a shadow that went beyond the door frame. I jumped at the gramophone, immediately lifting the needle. It's fear. These chills. They were familiar.
なんで
Why was that monster here? There was a knock at the door again. I gripped a dishcloth that reeked of milk. Suddenly, he stopped knocking on the door and began to pull on the handle. The bells on the door that had let the cafe know when a customer came in rang noisily. If I had a customer for every time the bell rang, this place would have been packed to the brim. My clenched jaws had opened at some point, and my teeth were making a shattering sound. The sound slipped from my hands. Even with my ears covered, the sight penetrating my eyelids even with my eyes closed. Eventually, the handle fell with a clang. It shouldn't have been that flimsy. The door opened slightly, and light from the gas lamp and the sound of the rain came in. I immediately crawled out from behind the counter and pushed my back against the door. Thud, dull impacts went through my entire body. So, please stop. Why was he coming after me? How did he know where I was? Maybe he was trying to tell me something. At the end of his muttered syllable, the ringing abruptly stopped. But Haruhiko-san continued to stare behind me.
春彦さん
振り返るのは
そんなことを言われたら
I looked up hesitantly. Oh, he was gone. I faced Haruhiko-san with a wry smile, but this time he was looking right behind me. Enough already. Come on. When I turned around, he was right behind me.
ちょっと分子さん起きてください。分子さん
When I woke up, Miko's face was there in front of me.
あれ
やっぱり爆睡してた。もう6時半ですよ。ぼさっとしてると店長さんが来ちゃいます。
ああ君は早い出勤だな。
あなたが心配で早く来たんです。ほら早く出て行ってください。
世話になったな。って、お
The handle fell the moment I touched it.
ああ壊した。分子さんってろくなことしないんですね。
違う、これは昨夜。
There was something white smeared on the inside of the handle. It was rice? Rice. A small lump smacked me back to my senses.
女じゃなくて、メイコ。これはお前が補強したのか？
知りません。私が壊したってことにしてあげますから、さっさと出て行ってください。
すまない。
いいんですよ。また川瀬さん元に池田さんの情報くだされば。
はい、わかった。では。
ああ、勝手に蓄音機いじりましたね。ちょっと逃げないでくださいよ。
I waved vigorously as I left the cafe. I stretched as I basked in the sunlight, or at least I wanted to, but it was raining today as well. The streetcar was already running. I headed towards the shop at a quick pace and then jumped onto the streetcar that came right at that moment. What exactly was that man from last night?
取っ手は米で補強してあったな。
It was like a makeshift repair done by a child trying to cover up some mischief. The man done it? It was the only one I could think of, but even that was hard to imagine. He didn't seem nearly as scary now that I had some idea of what he was thinking. Every time I remembered him, I got goosebumps.
物を壊してこっそり直すという動作は恐怖の感情が伴う。
あの男が恐怖をありえませんよ。
恐怖、焦り、その結果、一番身近なもので補強に至る。
でも、あのカフェに白米は。
Come on, Woody, you eat it every time you go there. They did. I rolled my goose bumps as I looked out the streetcar window again. My hands, my body, everything was sticky. I went past my usual stop in Jimbocho and I headed to Kawase's house. I pressed the doorbell. It wasn't long before Kawase stuck his head out from the front door.
いやあ、おはよう、玉森君。昨日は迷惑な電話をどうも。結局どこかに泊まったの？
神田橋のカフェだ。女給が手を回してくれた。
そうか。新しい寝床ができてよかったね。
で、ちょっといくら話はこれからだ。
嫌だな。
まだ何も頼んでないだろう。
その格好だからどうせ風呂を借りに来たんでしょ。
確かに風呂は借りに来たが。
機械湯に行ってきなよ。富士が絶景だとか言って俺に勧めてきたじゃないか。
それが金がもう。
Kawase gave me a cold look.
ああ、もう仕方ない。
Surprisingly, Kawase unlocked the gate for me.
本当にあげてくれるのか？
ああ、そう言ってるんだから早く上がってくれよ。
It was a long shot, so I didn't think he'd actually say yes. I started to feel guilty for selling his information to Mako. But I just shook my head and went inside.
しかし、朝からタバコを吸うのか。
朝の一本は特別なんだ。吸ってると精神が統一されるような気がするんだよね。前奏が瞑想にこうたくみたいな感じでさ。
It sounded like some company's advertisement. Kawase had started smoking around about 3 months ago. It wasn't unusual to see people smoking, especially students, but it had seemed weird for someone like Kawase, who hated smoke, to take it up. I totally get it if it was because he had been influenced by Hanazawa. Kawase immediately went down the hall and led me to the bathroom.
すまないすまない。
あんまり汚すなよ。
まあもちろん。おお、ボイラーがあるとはさすがの池田邸だな。じゃあそういうことだ。30分くらいで出るからコーヒーでも入れて待っていてくれ。
Warm water immediately came out when I turned on the faucet. I stopped at once the tub was full, my eyes overflowing with sparkles. When I turned around, Kawase was still there, frowning. He kept his arms crossed, showing no sign of leaving the dressing room.
だからな、川瀬。いつまでそこに。
君が汚さないように見張ってるか
な。
ら。早く脱ぎなよ。
変わった趣味だ
な。俺だって君の粗末なものは見たくないね。けど俺が見てないのでおかしなことをされる方が嫌なんだよ。
We all agree.
風呂に入ってするおかしなことって何なのだ？
小便に決まってるだろ。
You know him so well, Kawase.
私はそんな野蛮なことはしない。
いや、 君は川に使って小便をするような男だ。やりかねない。
You know him so well.
侵害だ。
だったら俺の目の前で綺麗に使ってみせてよ。
くそーと、その前に便所を借りる。
Kawase, are you sure you don't want to just give him money to go to the bathhouse? Ignoring Kawase's sigh, I ran to the toilet. So, stripping down in front of someone and taking a bath as they watched me have been pretty shameless behaviour. Even though I went to Kai bathhouse without thinking much about it, being watched one-on-one made me unusually nervous. Because of that, I ended up washing my hair twice and my body 3 times before submerging myself in the tub.
どうだ、満足か。
満足のクソもないよ。
Sank down even further.
潔癖症もそこまで来ると人間不信だな。
君みたいな不潔な人間がいるから嫌でもこうなるんだ。
That line again?
むしろ君の鈍感なところ結構羨ましいよ。
Kawase said as he turned his eyes away from me.
一度泥でもかぶればいいのだ。
想像させないでくれ。ゾッとするから。それじゃあ俺は部屋に戻る。ついでに風呂清掃を頼むよ。
わかった。
He said the door closed. I slid down even deeper and submerged everything but my eyes, nose and mouth in the hot water. The next time I blinked, the frogman appeared on top of my stomach. He plopped down on me and swung his hands and feet excitedly.
お風呂気持ちいいですね。
Get up!
柚子やみかんがあればさらに極上だ。
ねえ玉森くん、
なんだ、まだいたのか。
服洗っておいてあげようか。
いいや、いい。そのままでいい。
Please, Kawase. Please wash them.
でも泥がついてる。こんな格好で歩かれたら俺が困るんだけど。
泥は払ってゴミ箱に入れておく。
必ずそうしてくれ。
This time, Kawase withdrew. The frogman who had been hiding floated back up.
びっくりした。
Please wash those clothes.
こうして話す会話も奴には伝わらん。隠れずとも大丈夫だ。
でも川瀬さんには全て見抜かれてしまう気がして。
Well, he was like a snake. It made sense for a frog and a snake not to get along. But I remembered Kawase's profile as he read the statement. Oh, as he read the Frogman manuscript. Is this about me? About me and him? Just what he meant by that. I have no intention of asking or finding out now, but... The smell of coffee wafted by when I headed to the living room. Surprisingly, there was a cup for me too.
ありがたい。
ところで君、メガネはどうしたの？
ああ、なくしたのだ。
そう。やっぱり君、メガネなんてしない方がいいよ。誰の真似かわからないけど、伊達メガネなんてしても君の愚鈍さは隠しきれないから。
失礼な。それにあれは伊達メガネではない。
Don't worry.
そうだね。瓶底メガネっていうのかな。
I started wearing them a while ago. What I was most concerned about though was how Kawase's mouthy insults seemed off and lacked their usual bite. Kawase stirred his coffee a little as he looked out the window.
君に悪くない頼みがあるんだけど。
ん？
こっちに来て。
Kawase said as he pointed toward the window. A double umbrella had fallen into the garden. A timid-looking figure stood beyond the iron
ネズ
gate.
ミ小僧のつもりか知らないけど、近頃変なガキどもがうろついててさ。
あれもそのガキか？
傘が飛ばされたんで敷地に入れてくださいってところかな。
なんだ、通ってやればいいじゃないか。
バカか君。 門を開けた隙に何をしでかすかわからない。
Kawase said before quickly moving away from the window and taking a seat.
これから講義があるから留守にしなくちゃならないんだ。その間の留守番をお願いしたい。
Even though you hate me being in this house so much? If that's what you wanted, I'd do it, but...
あれ講義は午後からじゃないのか？
講義って言ったけど、ちょっと野暮用を思い出してね。結局帝大に行く用事さ。
そうか。
着替えてくるから、暇ならそこでガキを見張っていてくれ。
わかった。
Down the rain, he was shivering. It wasn't that big of a deal to just keep an eye on a simple gate, but if he was ordering me to watch this abandoned puppy of a guy for nearly an hour, of course that would be my conscience. I set down my warm coffee and headed for the front door. I grabbed the umbrella, folded it up and passed it to him through the bars of the gate. It shouldn't be a problem as long as I didn't open the gate. He took it hastily, then gave me a nervous look. His face was familiar. Wasn't he one of the guys who had teased me at the bathhouse? And now that I thought about it, he was also one of those twerps who had harassed me in the streetcar. Of course, he didn't know me. In this world, I hadn't gone to Kikai bathhouse, nor had I had that encounter with him in the streetcar.
君はここいらに住んでいるのか？
いいえ。あ、そうです。ここら辺に住んでます。
どっちなんだ？
His face turned pale. I turned around, and there was Kawase.
にゃっはっは。
Kawase opened the gate slightly and slipped through. He glared at the young man and smiled with scoff for leaping. Sorry.
なあ、少年、わかっただろう。あれは怖い大人なのだ。だからあんまりここをうろつくな。
ありがとうございます。ごめんなさい。
それじゃあな。
おい、待っ。
When I turned around, the one who seemed to be the leader was standing there. I didn't know where he'd been hiding, but there were leaves and burrs stuck to his clothes.
あんたさ、痛い毛の少年がずぶ濡れだったのに放置すんの？
痛いけな少年は自分を痛いけとは言わん。
俺たちはそう言ったかもしれねえが、こいつは言ってねえだろ。
He pushed his drenched friend forward. What kind of ridiculous logic was that?
こいつ見ても何とも思わねえのか？
暖かくしろよ。
てめえ、この屋敷の駒使いだかなんだか知らねえけど、やっぱり血も涙もねえ鬼だな。
鬼で結構。ここは通学路ではないぞ。寄り道せずにさっさと学校へ行け。
How satisfying. Even if it was a bunch of brats I was arguing with, there was no doubt I had won.
てめえ、絶対覚えてろよ。
もうやめようよ、工藤くん。
工藤じゃねえ、ドゥだ。ちゃんと隊員名で呼びやがれ。
ドゥ。
正規連隊。
You go to school, kids. The rest of his sentence was probably going to be, how do you know that name? Sure enough, they were shocked. Overseas, there was a writer known as Conan Doyle who had a detective novel called Sherlock Holmes. Not Sorry, I only know of Sherlock Holmes. I have no idea who that could be. Shunro Ishikawa had translated it as the Great Detective Hoshina, and it was a pretty popular piece of literature. In the original Sherlock Holmes, there was a gang of street children who assisted the titular detective. They were called the Baker Street Irregulars. Whether these guys knew that or not, they had taken on a nearly similar name.
お遊びには付き合ってられん。
Everyone's favourite guy, Sherlock Holmes.
絶対暴いてやるからな。この人殺しども。
Murderers. They'd given both Kawase and me a disturbing label. When I returned to the living room, there was brand new manuscript paper on the table. On the very first page was a single line that read, "You must be bored." Damn that Kawase in his spite.
春彦さん、それに帰る男。早速あなたたちの物語を書いてあげますよ。
して玉森くん、随分簡単にものを言うが、オラたちの物語をやすやすと書き出せるのかね。
自分の物語であれば一言一句間違えずに書けます。それに私のものだけじゃなく好きなものなら何でも。
そうだったね。
例えば
Fetus of fetus, why do you dance? Do you fear knowing your mother's heart?
Oh.
I'd ended up writing a passage from Dogma Magra without thinking, so I immediately crumpled it up and tossed it aside.
素直になったらどうだ、玉森くん。
今月刊行された新しい本だから頭に残っていただけです。ともかく邪魔しないでください。
I grabbed Haruhiko-san and the frogman by the napes of their necks and locked them out of the room. But they slid along the wall, slipped their way back in, and sat back down. Even though they were my hallucinations, they were growing further apart from my own will with each passing day.
邪魔をする気はもとよりない。さあ、早くオラたちの物語を書き上げてくれ。
わかりましたよ。わかりましたから。話しかけないでください。
玉森さん、玉森さん。
What did I just say, Frogman? I gave up and approached the window. The Frogman was pointing at the young men who were now climbing up the iron grate.
バカにしよって。
Well, Tamori, it's not hard. I rushed out to the living room and headed for the front door. And that's when the three figures excitedly ran right past me.
おーい、貴様らただじゃ置かないからな。
大人一人じゃ怖くねえよ。
They threw sand in my eyes and blinded me.
クソガキども。
Just what were they after? They stomped up the stairs to the second floor. The second floor? I clung to the wall so I wouldn't miss any steps or rub my eyes. I was going slow, so the first door was already shut. The room belonged to Territorial Ikeda, the master of this manor.
おい、開けろ。
I turned the doorknob, but it was locked. I ran to Kawase's room next and pulled the keys out from a drawer. But there were 20 heavier keys in a row. I continued to beat against doors. I tried each key one by one.
貴様ら何のつもりだ。そこで何をしている。
I could see them noisily opening drawers and overturning sheets. It was just as Kawase said, these guys were definitely thieves. When I had about half the keys left, my hand slipped and I dropped them. With nothing left to lose, I turned the doorknob again. I must have turned it dozens of times. Finally, the door opened with a click. The three had their feet on the windowsill as they grinned. The brattiest one was holding two books at his side.
そんなやつほっときゃいいのによ。
ほら行くぞ。
でも
Apparently, the timid one had opened the door for me. The other two were using a rope to climb down from the second
君
floor.
はどうやら話が通じるようだな。
勝手に入ってごめんなさい。でも僕たちお金目当てじゃないんです。
ああ、安心している。君を責めるつもりはない。だから詳しく話を聞かせてくれないか。どうしてこの部屋に用があった？
He froze. The eyes looking at me changed from doubtful to pleading. I immediately grabbed him by the waist and lifted him over my shoulder. I could hear the damn punk shouting outside the window. Perhaps he had heard his friends yell.
ルーといい、キャトルといい、フランス語か。洒落てるな。
Still holding my captive over my shoulder, I looked down from the window at the ones who had escaped.
卑怯だぞ。キャトルを離せ。
話してほしくば理由を話す。さもなければ こいつをくすぐり殺す。
なんて大人げないやつだ。
I formally invited them into the living room. I tied the rope they had used to escape around the timid one. I then neatly spread open the books they had stolen.
貴様たち、押し入ったのは初めてではないな。
Their plan had been executed smoothly and really quickly. It was uncanny.
押し入った？押し入ったのはてめえらだろ。
工藤くん。
だから隊員名で呼べ。
で、工藤君、君たちが盗んだこの本は一体何だ？
I picked one back up and flipped through it. How shameless of them. It was Territora's Ikeda's personal journal.
それに、私と川瀬を人殺しと呼んだな。
When I returned to the journal to the table for VoD, my captive jumped, startled.
僕たちは池田さんの死因について調べてるんです。
死因？池田さんは亡くなってなどいない。腰を悪くしたとかで、2ヶ月前から鎌倉の方に療養に。
嘘です。池田さんは帝大生さんに殺されたんです。
何？
おい、
正直に話そう。だってこの人悪い人じゃなさそうだし。
いいやつがお前をぐるぐる巻きにするかよ。
いいやつじゃなかったら貴様らをとっくにおまわりに突き出している。で、続きを。
Looked over at his companions as he slowly began to tell his story.
僕の家は神保町で三千堂という古書店を営んでいるんです。池田さんは毎週水曜に顔を出す常連さんでした。
One of Keida-san's hobbies was collecting old maps, so he enjoyed buying maps of places all over Japan and studying them. The shopkeeper seemed to think of Ikeda-san as nothing more than a profitable customer. But Ikeda-san was nice to me. He was a warm person, like a grandfather. He'd come in every week, and we would huddle together, and he'd teach me how to read the old maps. This is the samurai mansion, here's the entrance, stuff like that. It wasn't just old maps. We know a lot about our Western architecture too. This is our first time in this mansion. But Ikeda-san was always showing me the layout, so I memorized it. I'll invite you over to my manor next week. I was looking forward to it, but Ikeda-san never came for me.
だからそれは療養に。
僕に何も言わずに行っちゃうなんておかしいです。不思議に思ってここに来たらあの帝大生さんに会ったんです。
なあ。
帝大生さんは言いました。ここにはそんな人はいないよって。
川瀬の、いや、その帝大生のことを池田さんから聞いていなかったのか？
聞いてません。ただ犬と二人暮らししていると言っていました。A ちゃんっていう犬と。
I wonder why Ikeda-san had told such a creepy lie.
君の名前は何と言ったかな？
加藤です。
キャトルだろ。
加藤君、君はあの帝大生を勘違いしている。奴は確かに冷酷非道の野郎だが、人殺しなんて野蛮なことはしない。まあ、
Come on, Mori.
ことはあるかもしれんが。
You ain't selling them.
でも不思議なことが多すぎるんです。あの帝大生さんがこの屋敷を乗っ取るためにいろいろと仕組んだに違いないんです。
Katoku had some pretty outrageous ideas. Rather than enjoying this mystery, he possessed the mind of a detective who wanted nothing more than to expose the truth.
日記を盗んだのはどうしてだ？
池田さんは日記を書くのも趣味だと言ってたんです。
別にざっと目を通す限り異様だとは思わないが、日付もちょうど鎌倉に療養に行った日で泊まっている。
だからそれがおかしいんです。どうして療養先にこの日記を持っていかなかったのか。
That was true. Did have a point there. It was difficult to think that he'd forgotten to take something he used daily with him.
やっぱりあの帝大生さんが殺したんだ。
待て待て加藤君、 数々の疑問については私が川瀬に直接聞いておく。だから今は気持ちを落ち着かせてくれ。
でもおかしいだろ。池田のじいさんがいなくなった日から羽振りが良くなったんだぜ。
お前ら、どうして川瀬の財布事情まで。
別に関係ねえだろ。もういい。行くぞお前ら。
そうだね。こいつ何にも知らなさそうだし。
おい、まだ話は終わってないだろう。加藤君がどうなってもいいのか。
Kato-kun easily slipped out of the rope and stood up.
今日はお邪魔してすみませんでした。本当は帝大生さんがいないうちにこっそり探ろうと思ったんですけど。
ともかく謎については私が川瀬に聞いといてやる。だがどこに答えを持っていけば。
三千堂書店に来てください。合言葉は主と朝寝がしてみたいです。
What a shameless password. That mean they knew Shinsaka Takasugi's phone?
てめえのこと認めたわけじゃねえからな。
そうだぞ。アンがお前を気に入らなかったら秘密保持のためそれなりの刑に処すからな。
私は別に正規連隊謎に興味はない。くだらない勇敢に付き合っている暇はないのだ。ただ
タマさん、それじゃあもろもろよろしくお願いします。
The two read poetry and did not understand what the poetry was about. And with that, they went out to the front door with noisy footsteps. Kato-kun carefully closed the gate and bowed respectfully. From the window I watched them leave as they brought up my cold coffee to my mouth. You called me Tama-san, hadn't you? How does he know my name? They looked into wallets and knew people's names. They were more mysterious than their Tedesi. The regular regiment. I thought they were just messing around, but they were actually pretty efficient at gathering information. Anyway, for the time being, this was settled. I needed to hide the journals in case so Kawase wouldn't find out they had been here. I went upstairs and entered Akira-san's room, where I looked over the disastrous scene again and sighed. The dust had been wiped off the spots they had touched, leaving scattered handprints behind. Used my sleeve, I cleared the dust away completely as I closed the open drawers one by one. I didn't know where the journals belonged, but I figured I should put them in the desk drawer or something. When I peeked into one of the open drawers, I spotted a red collar. Collar. I wondered where the dog went. What dog was it? Ikeda-san must have watched it running around the spacious garden from this window. Kawase hated animals. It seemed possible that he'd given it poison and killed it. I returned to the living room and faced my manuscript. The Frogman and Haruhiko-san. It was so easy for me to write a story I had written once before that I could do it with my eyes closed. But my mind was occupied with Kawase.
川瀬さん、帰ってきましたよ。
ご苦労、帰る男。
I set my manuscript down and headed for the front door.
遅かったな。
教授と話し込んでてさ。悪かったね。
安心しろ。あのガキどもも寄りつかなかったぞ。
ならよかった。何ぼさっとしてるのさ。
今日は夕方から田舎見と東洋キネマに行く約束をしているのだ。
そうだったんだ。言ってくれればもっと早く帰ったのに。
よかったら川瀬も来ないか。
俺は遠慮するよ。
だよな、そう言うと思った。
He had no interest in entertainment, let alone horror
ちょっと待って、
films.
玉森君。これ、少ないけど留守番のお礼だ。
金が欲しくて頼まれたわけじゃない。
He took 10 yen from his wallet as though it were nothing. I felt my knees go weak at the sight of so much money.
せめて5円くらい。
今晩はそれで宿を探してくれ。軽い手切れ金みたいなものだ。
むむ。だがせめて原稿くらいは置かせてくれ。岩に書きかけの原稿がある。
いいよ。どっかにぶち込んでおくから。じゃあね。
と、一つ聞き忘れたことがあった。この屋敷に犬はいたか？
犬？なんでまた？
何やら動物の毛が落ちていたのだ。
何色の？
He was answering my questions with
お
questions.
そらく黒か灰。
It was my hair.
犬なんて飼ってないよ。ただ、俺がここに住む2年前のことは詳しくわからない。
だが、近所の人には犬を飼っていると池田さんが吹いていたらしいぞ。
誰から聞いたの？
だから、近所の人が来て。
お隣の人？それとも向かい
？3軒お隣。
Answered randomly when I did. Kawase grinned and walked past me.
俺は興味ないから知らないけど、そんなに噂が広がってるんじゃ、可愛い犬でもいたかもな。
Thank you, Kawase, for normal answers. Kawase definitely seemed to be hiding something, but there was no way out of it with something she was just killing Ikeda-san. The reason was simple. There was no way a germophobic Kawase could kill anyone. Morality didn't even play into it. Couldn't even touch people to begin with. But I felt like there were so many mysteries that I couldn't ignore them. I'd ask Minakami about it. There were a lot of things I wanted to talk to him about when I saw him tonight. Toya Cinema was swarming with moviegoers. That meant it was 7 o'clock. Yeah, obviously can't kill someone he hates germs. But I was alone in the lobby, leaning against the wall by the entrance. Mikami. Why aren't you coming? A single door separated me from the film narrator, exciting the viewers. When I went to go in, the caramel seller was standing in front of the door. I snorted and suddenly called out to him.
少年、キャラメル1箱。
はい。
ところで、おかっぱ頭で糸目の男を知らないか？
ああ、その人知ってますよ。今日の昼に見かけました。
その男は一人だったか？
お兄さん、その人のこと調べてるんすか？それならそれ相当のものをくれないと。
このキャラメルを君にやる。
見てわかんないっすか？キャラメル売ってるくらいキャラメル食い飽きてるんすけど。
では、せんべいを。
That's very true, Pina.
金だよ、金。
いやしい主戦止め。もういい。
I dramatically grabbed my umbrella and went back to stand in the rain. Minakami wasn't here. Time passed, the movie ended, and the guests came out. The ushers as well, the caramel seller too, and the film narrator. Everyone was on their way home. I silently watched their backs as I continued to wait for Minakami. I waited and waited, but Minakami didn't come.
下宿先に行くかい？
いえ、もう少し待ちます。
恩着せがましいことを考えてるんじゃないだろうね。
そんなつもりはありません。責める気ももうありません。だって何か事情があったに決まってますから。
そうだな。あれだけ君が忠告したんだ。水上くんが無視するとは思えない。
水上はもともとおかしなやつなんです。本に気を取られて電車を乗り過ごしたり、小学生の時なんて通学路を過ぎて隣村まで歩いて行ったこともあるんですよ。
また何かに巻き込まれてなければいいがね。電話の一本入れておいてもいいんじゃないかな。
I grabbed the phone and had the operator connect me to the Uzumi residence, but no one picked up. I finally gave up and leaned against the wall. It was the same, but I remembered that I had headed to the Uzumi residence the night Minakami didn't show up. Madame had gone out, so the house was definitely empty. And then I had passed Naoshi-kun.
確実に直し君は家にいる。
ということはあいついるっすか。
Naoshi Ozumi. The first time I met Naoshi-kun was by chance. When I was headed to the outhouse late one cold night, I saw a shadow running toward me. My legs gave out, and after letting out a scream, I had pissed myself on the spot. He saw me, smiled, opened the front door, and disappeared into the rain. The next morning I found out he was Naoshi-kun, Madame's only son. I had the chance to formally meet him the day after that, but he wouldn't even look me in the eye. That one night was the only time he had ever given me a smile. I thought he hated me, but the next day he showed me his more talkative side. I still wasn't sure which one was the real Naoshi-kun. I tried to call him one more time.
やめておきなさい、玉森君。どうせ彼は出ん。
分かってます。ただの嫌がらせですよ。
Noisome residents' phone would be noisy enough to jerk him awake in the middle of the night. I was playing mind games with him. I no longer cared if he picked up or not. Or so I thought, but...
もしもし。あんた誰？
玉森だ。お久しぶりだな。
なんだ、タマさんか。皆さんなら出かけてるよ。
そうか。うん。みなかみが帰ったらよろしく伝えてくれ。
わかった。お母様に代わる。
いや、遠慮する。
嘘だよ。お母様は今日お友達とお茶会があるって言って出かけた。
I know.
ところで用事があるのは皆さんだけ？本当は僕に用事があるんじゃないの？
From Naoshi-kun? Not really.
待ってるんでしょ。
君、一体何を知っているんだ？
皆さんから聞いたんだよ。家を追い出されて困ってるってね。
Why thought Jeremy Nakami go out his way to tell him that?
お母様の帰りは遅くなると思うから、その前に来てくれたらタマさんをかくまえるよ。
本当か？
実はそれも皆さんからの頼みなんだけどね。
He did?
無視してもよかったんだけど、ほら、僕っていい子だからさ。
Huh? Was Naoshi-kun always like
10
this?
時になる前に来てね。それ以降は僕も寝ちゃうから。
ありがとうございます。
それじゃあ切ります。
Naoshi-kun was a good guy.
玉森さん、今夜の宿は確保できましたね。
Good question, Pineapple. Why did he do that?
だからどうしたというのだ。みなかみの所在は依然わからぬままだ。
水道橋と柳橋、どっち行きます？
なんだその二択は。
みなかみさんが首を吊った場所とみなかみさんが流れ着いた場所の二択です。
What the frog had just said was pretty creepy. I couldn't believe those words could come from his mouth.
みなかみが今日ここに来られなかったのはそういう運命だったのだ。
でも
さあ、大泉の家に行こう。
The streetcar swayed as I headed to the Oizumi residence. As we passed Swado Bridge, I shut my eyes tight.
本当に来たんだ。
すまない。一晩世話になる。
いいから早く来て。
It'd been a while since I stepped over this threshold. As soon as I did, the nostalgic scent of the tatami spread through my chest.
ちょっと、玄関に堂々と傘置かないでよ。バレるだろう。カゴの裏に隠して。
He instructed me on everything. I even had to wipe the water off my shoes and slip them into my pockets.
綺麗だね。
みなかみが上京祝いに買ってくれたのだ。
へえ、皆さんもおのぼりさんなのに不思議なことするね。タマさんは何かあげたの？
いや、
もらってばっかり？解消なしのクズだな。
No, she.
うるさいぞ。
あー、僕にそんな口聞くわけ。
The way he was speaking and acting was starting to resemble Kawase. Instead of getting angry, I opted for sucking up and lowered my head in shame.
で、今日はここで寝て。
も
The place they had led me to was my old room. At the moment it was empty, but Minakami's scent was coming from a single sliding door separating the adjoining room.
う悪いな、直し君。
When I immediately lay down on the tatami, he yelled and lifted me up by the arm.
万一のことがあったら大変だから、タマさんは皆さんのとこの押し入れで寝てね。
Yeah, get in the closet. That's just about enough of you. Get in the closet. Now she can open the sliding door and let me into Minakami's room.
私の特技はどこでも寝られることだ。こんなガラクタ置き場、苦でもないぞ。
じゃあ頼らないでほしかったな。
何か言ったか？
どこでも寝れるんなら駅で寝ればって言ったんだ。
包み隠さないんだな、君は。
Nurse-kun suddenly cocked his
お
head.
母様が帰ってきた。
何？
ともかく早く寝て、朝起こしに来るから、それまで絶対物音立てないでね。
はい、わかった。それと、直し君。できれば朝、握り飯も用意してくれると。
じゃあ1円は用意しておいてね。
He said as he lowered his cap and I closed the closet door. It was pretty cramped. I wouldn't be able to fit unless I bent my knees. It eventually became difficult to breathe, so I opened the door slightly. Even if this room was in the middle of the mansion, Madame probably wouldn't go into someone else's room. From the gap, I spotted Runakami's desk. No reference books on it. His bookshelf was also crammed. What I wanted to find out last time I came here was whether Minakami had read The Phantom in the Basement or not. I mentioned it before, but when Minakami read in his own room, he only did so at his desk. That was because it gave him the best posture as to not get tired. Even if he sat cross-legged, his arms wouldn't cramp and his legs wouldn't fall asleep. That's why, if I looked around his desk, I'd know what he was currently reading. At the moment, my manuscript wasn't there.
原稿は持って行っちゃったんですよ、きっと。
なぜそうだと思う？
だってこの部屋に帰ってきた形跡がありません。私服もそのままかけられてるし。
しかし玉森君、カエル男、おかしな点が一つあるぞ。
Haruhiko-san crawled out from behind the sliding door and roamed around the room.
水上君のカバンには君の原稿は入っていなかった。
カバン？
水上君の死体を確認したとき、一緒にカバンも見つかっただろう。そのカバンの中に君の原稿はなかった。
まあ、あれはいわば別世界での話。本当に些細なことですが、行いは変わっているんです。当てにならない。
それじゃあいよいよ君の原稿がどこへ行ったかわからんな。まあどうでもいいが。
僕もどうでもいいです。
協力してくださいよ。
水上君が読んで死のうと読まずに死のうと、オラたちには重要ではないからな。
Then the two dissolved into the wall. Even my hallucinations were of no help. There were a ton of things I wanted to ask Minakami when I got back tonight. Eventually, I found the moonlight to be a nuisance, so I slid the door closed a bit. Being in the moonlight and hearing the sound of the rain falling made the night eerie. How many days would I have to keep living like this? I let out a long sigh. When I did, it felt as though my body was somewhat deflated, and I was melting into this space. I had no plans at all to return to the country. I was worried about the grandmother I'd left behind, but I felt like even if I did go back, I would just worry her more than necessary. I saw two glowing eyes between my legs. Something was stepping firmly from my thigh to my lower abdomen as it came closer. Suddenly, I liked the tip of my nose. I opened the sliding door. A kitten suddenly jumped out and tried to meow, but only its mouth moved. Oh, Nakami's cat?
お前がいつも天気を当ててくれるんだってな。毛づくろいの手が耳の裏に行けば雨。
It tilted its head. I waved my hand for it to come closer, but the cat wouldn't come.
母猫はどうした？一人か？
The cat tried to meow again, but only its mouth moved.
かわいそうに。間引かれたのだな。
The cat tilted its head again in the opposite direction. It was a good thing Minakami had brought it in, but if we didn't come home, it wouldn't be able to have a proper meal. Same as me.
朝になれば私の飯を少し分けてやる。
The cat let out another silent meow. Thinking it was sort of cute, I stretched my hand toward it, but the cat ended up running off somewhere. Hey, wait! I was about to speak up when I noticed footsteps approaching. I quickly hid myself in the closet. Someone slowly walked into Minakami's room. The footsteps were probably Madame's. Why was she in Minakami's room? Maybe she'd come to grab one of Minakami's books. I heard the sound of pages being flipped through.
バカな人。な。
Honestly, I was the fool. The confusion The confusion that had welled up inside me at Madame's mutter had come flying out of my mouth. Her toes swiftly turned toward me. This is the end. The saddest thing about it was that I was going to have to search out in the rain for a place to stay again. The door by my feet slowly slid open. At that moment, right beside me, a meow jumped out from behind the sliding door separating us.
あなただったのね。
The cat seemed to flop down again. Madame went out to the hall and opened the door to the garden. With a splash, the cat landed on all fours out in the rain. It seemed to have been chased out. As soon as I thought one problem was gone, I heard a strange sound. When I hesitantly put my face out from behind the door, I saw that Madame had rolled up both sleeves and was pulling books from Minakami's bookshelf with everything she had. Something strange was going on in the dim light. I'd always thought Madame was a scary person, but she suddenly stopped moving and turned around. I ducked down and hid myself in her blind spot in the nick of time. She shut the door tight, unaware that I was right there next to her. Or I had to strain my ears in the darkness. Madame fiddled with the bookshelf for a while. Once she was done, she let out a heave-ho in her deep voice and left the room. Madame's swift footsteps grew distant. When I slid the door open, a scene no different from before was spread before me. What's that about? What exactly had she taken with her? Up until now, Madame had never come into our rooms. And yet she touched his bookshelf without hesitation, pulled something out and left. I was way too suspicious, but there was no way I could ever question her about it. After I closed the door, I also closed my eyes and gave up. The door opened slightly. I shot up with a gasp and hit my head hard.
おはようタマさん。ぶつけたの？
直しくん、おはよう。
ほら、これおにぎり。僕が握ったんだよ。
Now she taunted me by waving an onigiri on a plate in front of me. I came out of the closet like a dog and scarfed it down in one bite. It was pretty salty, but it actually revived me.
お母様が読書を始めたから、出て行くなら今のうちだよ。
すまない直しくん。
I slowly stepped out of the room and went out into the hall. I headed straight for the front door and took out the shoes I was hiding. While I was caught up in tying my shoelaces, the phone suddenly rang in front of me. Madame, like Minakami, was certain to not hear anything when she was concentrating on her reading. That's why, if there were any noise other than this, she wouldn't have noticed me. I needed to hurry. Madame would be coming at any moment. Now she couldn't immediately opened an umbrella, dropped it on the floor, and chased me behind it. Once Madame had finished greeting Naoshi-kun, she had gracefully picked up the phone. Ikeda-san, so Kawase?
ええ。タマさんはもうこの家には。はい。この度はご愁傷様です。お悔やみ申し上げます。
どういうことだ？
Without thinking, I jumped out from the shadow of the umbrella and took the phone from Madame.
おい川瀬、ご愁傷様って一体何なのだ？
それについては直接君に。ってだからき。
I looked around. Madame was shocked, while Naoshi-kun lowered his hat and head. I was just as shocked as they were. Kawase sighed over the phone.
まあ電話に出られたんなら都合がいい。神保町にある新常盤橋行きの停留所で待っていてくれ。
The phone went dead. Surprisingly, when I returned the phone to the receiver, even Madame's expression had changed.
タマさん、気を落とさないでちょうだいね。
にゃ。にゃ。
Right, we'll stop there, shall we? I know it's just a wee short stream today, but hey, we got through a decent part, right? I hope you've been enjoying. We'll be back on Monday on Twitch, and we'll be doing the merch design stream then. Alright? I look forward to, yeah, the drama. It's always drama time. Alright, thank you everyone. Bye bye. Items. $10-gallon hat. How would I put the 10-gallon hat on? Fashion.